What's up, kids? Sean Marmello here. So the question of the day is, I was thinking about this, and maybe you guys have a better answer. I have my hypothesis, but I have a couple theories, but I'd like to know what you guys think. Now, other than like the Beatles, Elton John, Billy Joel, they are some of the greatest artists of their era and of their genre. The people having the most success today are not anywhere near the most talented. You're telling me Taylor Swift is the most talented of her generation? Give me a fucking break, seriously. Go down any night in Nashville and you'll see real talent. And then you tell me she strutted into that town at 17, 18 years old and somehow on her own merits got a record deal because she wrote cutesy little tunes. I played rounds there for 5 years with girls. Kelsey Ballerini was one of the girls that I played with rounds with. A couple other ones. I don't know their names, but they all could sing her under the table, and almost every one of the songs were as good, if not better, than Taylor Swift. If you go down there and you spend any time, it'll dispel you of the notion that Taylor Swift is the greatest, female singer-songwriter of her generation. And same goes with, any of the country artists. And I don't even acknowledge hip hop or rap. That's its own street poetry, but that's not music. I don't know, maybe it comes down to the fact that most 100 IQ or less normie individuals don't know talent, or a lot of people can't grasp great art when they hear it or see it. They don't get it. I mean, maybe back in the day people couldn't discern Michelangelo from some 13-year-old sculptor or painter. Maybe people didn't recognize Leonardo da Vinci. They certainly didn't recognize Vincent van Gogh in his day. He never sold a painting while he was alive. Yet Dr. Gachet sold for like $100 million, and some of his paintings are the most expensive and revered in history. There were other artists who had commercial success as well in the visual realm. So I'm just, I'm going to focus on music because I would really love to know what you guys think of this, because it's insane. I just think that there's a mechanism, there's a power, there's a machine behind music. And I've been told by record execs, former record execs, that there was always an agenda coming from the top. Like, for instance, when they stopped signing hair bands and they went into signing the hip-hop rap, gangster rap stuff, none of the A&R guys, none of the record company executives wanted to do anything, but it came from above them. And I think there's an agenda behind that. I know that sounds conspiracy theoretical, but this is what I've been told by record execs that were working for the major labels at that time. So take it for what it is. You can always go down the rabbit hole and research that if you want. But I think there's a societal, socio-political agenda at work. And I think things come down from the social engineers from up top to place certain types of art in the political zeitgeist for somebody's agenda, because it doesn't make any sense. Back when rock and roll was new and it was coming up, Zeppelin was undeniable. Joni Mitchell, undeniable. Crosby, Stills, Nash, undeniable. These great bands of the past that are still among the greatest and most successful bands. Billy Joel, undeniable, even though it took him a while to break. Elton John never broke even in his own country. He had to come to the Troubadour in the United States to get big and break. And then when he went back to England, I think he played Wembley. He was huge by then. But, I mean, look at the Beatles, They were great. It was just a magical group. But nowadays, some of the great music that I hear, I think it's just like a fire hose coming at you. It was a trickle because everything had to go through gatekeepers back then, whether it be radio, whether it be specific DJs, record companies. I mean, you couldn't just it was really expensive to get your music out there. And so it went through a bunch of levers or a bunch of gates. You had to get through a bunch of gatekeepers. And only there were manufactured pop bands that were kind of pushed by those gatekeepers too. But I think ultimately, I mean, I'm sure there's great, crazy music being released today on Spotify and iTunes by independent artists, but you're never going to see them, never going to hear about them. Maybe one or two here and there slip through because, you know, it's literally like, it's not even a fire hose. It's like if you dump the earth on its side and the Pacific Ocean was fire hosing, tidal waving at you. That's essentially what it is today. Back then, the gatekeepers in the industry itself, whether, you know, from radio, record companies, all the way across, they could push something through. You know, they could push Leif Garrett through, or, you know, Sean Cassidy, or whatever the pop was of the 50s and the 60s. It could be flash in the pan, but it was never going to have staying power like Elvis Presley, because that was a true talent right there, or the Beatles. You know, so I think it comes down to the resources. You put the resources behind it. Sure, you can have flash in the pan success, but to have true staying power, it had to be great. But today, you put $100 million or $50 million or whatever it is behind a Taylor Swift, and she's going to be successful. She's going to be world famous. And you keep pushing millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars in social media and marketing with every release and everything she does, and you put a social media team behind it, and it's going to make somebody money. It's going to be successful. And I think you could do that to based on my experience, you could do that to anybody playing on 2nd Ave or Broadway or doing any rounds anywhere around Nashville. I'm telling you, you could do it. So that's what I got for you. You know, talented people are complicated, man. They're not marketing gurus. Some of them are really weird. Some of them, you know, just stay in the house all day and play the piano. Joni Mitchell would sit there and open her window and she would hear birds chirping, and she would literally tune the guitar, each string to a different bird chirping, and then she would come up with a song. You're telling me Taylor Swift can do that, or has even thought about doing that? No, because she's not an artist. She's a construct, you know? And I hate to be ripping on Taylor Swift. She fucking sucks. But I don't want to rip on her. They all suck. Most of them are worse out there. But she happens to be a personification of what I'm talking about. Highly successful and very marginally talented. So, I don't know. You might disagree with me. Tell me what you think. But why is it that the most talented are not always the most successful? I think it comes down to who pushes it, the resources behind it. And I also think that, you know, the education and or the refinement of the prospective demographic has something to do with it as well. I mean, does the audience you're going for even have the ability to understand the music? I mean, that's probably why bland pop music is so successful, because you don't really have to think. You just get a doom, 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 doom beat going. You just get a just like some kind of repetitive 2-3 note melody going, and people can as they flip burgers. I don't know. I mean, I hate to think that's what it is, but you know, I'm a proponent of art, of music, of songwriting. I worked a long time, 40 years, to become a songwriter. And I worked my life to become a singer and a player. And I do this channel, and I put out these videos to give advice to other people who want to do it, who love to do it. Like I said, any idiot can get out there and play bars, because the general pot, first of all, the bar is, like I said yesterday, just a millimeter. Anybody can do it. I see people out there gigging. Actually, I don't know if they're getting paid or not, but they're out there playing who just can't sing, can't play. They, you know, it's bad. But your motivation should come from within. It shouldn't have to do with anybody else. So that's your motivation for writing. That's your motivation for trying to become better. That's your motivation to be successful, or whatever your goals are. It has to come from within. It has nothing to do with anybody else. But anyway, I digress. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, because I really would like to get a discourse going on this, because I'm just so sick of the crap out there. And also, feel free in the comments to link what you perceive as great music. I don't really care what the genre is. I'm not going to listen to fucking rap or hip hop, so don't even bother putting it in there. I don't care. Call me an old man, whatever. It doesn't have all the elements that I consider music, which is counterpoint, melody, a great rhythm, harmony. You know, it doesn't have all that. It's just a bunch of contrived nonsense to me. So let me know what you think, and as always, I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.